My mom chose her boyfriend over me. After 7 years of silence, she just messaged me like nothing happened. I, 27F, haven't spoken to my mom in nearly 7 years. She just messaged me out of the blue like nothing happened, saying she misses me and wants to catch up. I'm torn between rage and laughter. So, here's what happened, because maybe saying it out loud will help me process it. My mom and I were incredibly close growing up. It was just the two of us for a long time. My dad died when I was a baby and she raised me alone. She worked hard and did her best, and I was always proud of her. I truly thought we were a team. That changed when I was 19 and she met Rick. Rick was charming at first, funny, generous, always complimented my mom. But around me, he was different, passive-aggressive, controlling. He'd joke about my clothes being too revealing, or say things like, "You know your mom's sacrificing a lot for you, right?" It was subtle but constant. I tried talking to her. I told her I didn't feel comfortable around him. She said I was being dramatic, that I was used to it just being us, and didn't want to share her. When I pushed harder, she snapped and told me I was selfish. That Rick made her happy. So I stopped trying. I stayed out of the house as much as I could, picked up more shifts at work, saved up. Then the final straw. I caught Rick going to my phone one night. I asked him what the hell he was doing, and he accused me of hiding something. When I told my mom, she said, maybe if you weren't so secretive, he wouldn't feel the need to. That night, I packed a bag and left. I moved in with a friend, eventually got my own place, and cut ties. Not out of spite, but because I realized she wasn't going to protect me from him. She had made her choice. 7 years. Not a birthday, not a call, not a single apology. Then yesterday, she messages me on Facebook. "Hey, sweetie, I was just thinking about you. It's been too long. Would love to reconnect. I miss my girl." No mention of what happened. No acknowledgement. Just nostalgia and guilt tripping. I don't know what she expects. For me to pretend the last 7 years didn't happen? To ignore the fact that she chose a man over her daughter? Over our relationship? I'm not sure I'll respond. Maybe one day. But right now, I needed to get this off my chest. Thanks for listening. Reddit. I, 27F, haven't spoken to my mom in nearly 7 years. She just messaged me out of the blue like nothing happened, saying she misses me and wants to catch up. I'm torn between rage and laughter. So, here's what happened, because maybe saying out loud will help me process it. My mom and I were incredibly close growing up. It was just the two of us for a long time. My dad died when I was a baby, and she raised me alone. She worked hard and did her best, and I was always proud of her. I truly thought we were a team. That changed when I was 19 and she met Rick. Rick was charming at first, funny, generous, always complimenting my mom. But around me, he was different, passive-aggressive, controlling. He'd joke about my clothes being too revealing, or say things like, "You know your mom's sacrificing a lot for you, right?" It was subtle but constant. I tried talking to her. I told her I didn't feel comfortable around him. She said I was being dramatic, that I was used to it just being us, and didn't want to share her. When I pushed harder, she snapped and told me I was selfish. That Rick made her happy. So I stopped trying. I stayed out of the house as much as I could. Went to school, picked up more shifts at work, saved up. Then the final straw. I caught Rick going through my phone one night. I asked him what the hell he was doing, and he accused me of hiding something. When I told my mom, she said, maybe if you weren't so secretive, he wouldn't feel the need to. That night, I packed a bag and left. I moved in with a friend, eventually got my own place, and cut ties. Not out of spite, but because I realized she wasn't going to protect me from him. She had made her choice. 7 years. Not a birthday, not a call, not a single apology. Then yesterday, she messages me on Facebook. "Hey, sweetie, I was just thinking about you. It's been too long. Would love to reconnect. I miss my girl." No mention of what happened. No acknowledgement. Just nostalgia and guilt tripping. I don't know what she expects. For me to pretend the last 7 years didn't happen? To ignore the fact that she chose a man over her daughter? Over our relationship? I'm not sure I'll respond. Maybe one day. But right now, I needed to get this off my chest. Thanks for listening, Reddit. So I wasn't planning to respond to my mom's message, but curiosity won. After 7 years of silence, she popped back into my life with a cheerful little, "I miss you, sweetie." Like she hadn't ghosted me the second her husband decided I wasn't convenient anymore. Against my better judgment, I messaged back. Nothing dramatic. Just, "What made you reach out now?" She replied within minutes. "Rick's been asking about you. He really wants to see you. He's not well." I stared at the message for a full minute. Not "I'm sorry." Not "I want to talk about what happened." Not even "How are you?" Just, Rick. Rick, the man who went through my phone. Rick, the man who made my teenage life a hellscape. Rick, the man she chose over me. I didn't respond right away. I waited a few days, trying to decide if I was reading too much into it. Then she followed up with this. "He's really sick, and honestly, I've been under so much financial stress. I'm drowning in bills, and I thought maybe you could help out a little. Not forever, just for now. You've always been so independent." There it was, the real reason she reached out. Not because she missed me, not because she wanted to make things right, because she wanted money. For him. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. 7 years of silence, and now I'm supposed to bail out the man who helped ruin our relationship? I sent one final message. "You chose him over me. You ignored me for years. And now you only reach out because you want something from me for him. I'm not your daughter when it's inconvenient, and your ATM when it's not. Please don't contact me again." She read it. No reply. Just silence again. Honestly, I'm not even sad. I'm just angry at myself for hoping she'd changed. I guess some people don't want forgiveness. They just want access. So I thought telling my mom, "Don't contact me again," would be the end of it. I was wrong. Turns out, when someone like her loses control, they don't just go quiet. They escalate. A week after I sent my final message, I started getting texts from family members I barely know, a cousin I hadn't seen in 10 years, my mom's old church friend. Even my former piano teacher messaged me on Facebook, each one with some variation of, "Your mom is heartbroken. She's going through so much. After all she's sacrificed for you, she just needs a little help right now." And then the real gut punch, a Facebook post from my mom, public, full of carefully chosen half-truths. "It's so painful when the child you raised turns their back on you in your darkest hour. I made mistakes, but I loved her with everything I had. Now I'm alone, drowning in debt after losing the love of my life, and all I wanted was to reconnect. Please pray for me." It had over 80 comments. Lots of sympathy. Lots of people calling me ungrateful without even knowing my side. And the kicker? She attached an old photo of us. Me at maybe 13, smiling, arm around her neck, back when I still thought she'd protect me from anything. It made me feel sick. I didn't respond publicly. I didn't comment. But I did send her one final message. Just to be crystal clear, stop using me to play the victim. You want sympathy for your own choices, fine. But don't drag my name through the dirt. I have the receipts. And if you keep this up, I'll post every one of them. She hasn't replied, but she took the post down within the hour. I don't know what's worse, losing my mom years ago to a manipulative man, or realizing she never really came back. She just found a new way to control me, with guilt instead of silence. If there's a silver lining, it's this: I don't feel conflicted anymore. I don't feel guilty. I feel free. Not all family deserves a second chance. Sometimes no contact isn't a punishment. It's protection. Thanks for sticking with me through this. This time, it really is the end. I honestly didn't think she'd have a nerve. Not after I told her to stop contacting me. Not after she tried to publicly guilt me, and I shut her down. But here we are. She showed up at my door. Unannounced. Uninvited. Standing on my front porch like this was some kind of surprise reunion episode of Dr. Phil. It was a Saturday morning. I was in sweats, no bra, halfway through laundry when the doorbell rang. I peeked through the peephole and felt my stomach drop. She looked smaller, tired, like she hadn't slept in days. But her eyes were exactly the same. That mix of sadness and entitlement she's always weaponized. I cracked the door, but left the chain on. You shouldn't be here. She put on the fragile act immediately, hand on her chest, voice shaking. Please, just let me talk to you, face to face. Not texts, not silence. I told her I wasn't interested in having a conversation, especially not in my home, that we'd already been over this. Then she said it. I'm going to lose the house. I'm one missed payment away. Everything Rick left me is worthless. I don't have anyone else to turn to. There was again the ask, wrapped in tears, packaged in guilt. Not, I love you. Not, I'm sorry. Just, I need something. I closed the door a little more and told her firmly, you didn't want a daughter. You wanted a caretaker. I'm not responsible for the mess Rick left behind, and you don't get to show up at my home like this. She started crying, or pretending to. I honestly couldn't tell anymore. I gave you everything. I was a single mom. I worked nights to feed you, and this is how you repay me. That broke something in me. Because yes, she raised me. Yes, she worked hard. But she also abandoned me emotionally the second it was convenient. She sacrificed me for her comfort, and now she wanted me to sacrifice again for her mistakes. I said one last thing before shutting the door. You chose him. You chose him over and over. You don't get to rewrite history now that he's gone. Don't come back here. I locked the door and stood there listening. I heard her crying quietly on the porch. Then nothing. When I looked out the window 10 minutes later, she was gone. I blocked her number. Again, filed a police report, not pressing charges, but I wanted it on record, just in case. Because showing up at someone's house after they cut you off, that's not love. That's control. I know how this sounds. Cold, final. But I've given this woman years of second chances. And every time, she's used them to take. To manipulate. Not anymore. You don't get to light a match to the bridge and then cry about the distance. I didn't want to post again. I thought I was done. But this shook me. After everything. The years of silence, the guilt trips, the Facebook pity parade, and her showing up at my front door, I almost cracked. Almost. The thing is, after she left my house, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Not the manipulative woman she is now, but the version of her that raised me, the woman who packed my lunch every day, who worked double shifts and still showed up to my school play, even if she was half asleep in the audience. I started wondering, what if she really was desperate? What if Rick left her with nothing but debt and lies? So I talked to a therapist. I journaled. I cried more than I want to admit. And finally, I decided maybe I could help her a little, not with money. I wasn't going to hand her cash. But I looked into local aid programs, housing assistance, even some legal aid options. I printed everything out, put it in a folder, wrote her a short note saying, I'm not ready to rebuild our relationship, but I don't want you homeless. These resources can help you. Please use them. I mailed the folder. I thought I was doing the right thing. Boundaries and compassion. I felt proud of myself. Then, 3 days later, I got a phone call from my employer's HR department. They received an anonymous tip accusing me of fraud. Specifically, that I had faked part of my resume and lied about a previous job. They were required to open an internal review. I was stunned. I've never lied on a resume in my life. You know what tipped me off? The previous job I was accused of faking? It was a part-time gig I actually had at a diner I worked at when I was 19. The same year I moved out. The same year my mom stopped speaking to me. She knew about it. No one else would. I don't have proof it was her. The tip was anonymous, but the timing? Too perfect. The accusation? Too specific. And the fact that she knew exactly what part of my life to weaponize? Classic. Luckily, HR cleared up within 2 days. They verified my employment history and said everything checked out. No disciplinary action, no record. I was fine, but emotionally, I was wrecked. I reached out to her. One last time. I didn't even ask if it was her. I just said, I gave you one more chance to show you've changed. And instead of owning your choices, you try to tear down my life. I will never speak to you again. This is final. No response. Just a read receipt. Of course. I don't know why I keep trying to believe there's something salvageable in her. Maybe it's the ghost of who she used to be. Maybe it's guilt, or trauma, or hope I can't quite kill. But she made her choice. And this time, so have I. No more reaching out. No more explaining myself. No more chances. She didn't just burn the bridge. She tried to drag me into the fire. I'm done. Update. I was just running errands. Grocery store. Quick trip. I had headphones in, messy bun. Sunglasses on, fully in leave me alone mode. I turned the corner by the frozen foods aisle, and there she was, my mom, standing there, holding a basket, flipping through coupons like she wasn't the woman who had tried to ruin my life out of spite just months ago. My heart dropped. I froze. Part of me wanted to duck into the next aisle. The other part couldn't move. She looked up and saw me, and the second our eyes met, her face lit up. Oh my God, sweetheart. She said it loudly, like she wanted everyone in the aisle to hear, like we were long-lost best friends. I didn't respond. I was too stunned, too angry, and honestly, too heartbroken. She walked toward me like nothing had ever happened. No apology, no explanation, just this forced warmth, this bright, false smile, like she could just reset everything with a fake hug in front of strangers. I stepped back. Don't, I said, quiet but sharp. She stopped, confused, or pretending to be. Why are you being like this? She asked, loud enough again for people nearby to look up from their carts. I'm just trying to talk to my daughter. There it was, the performance, the same tactic she used on Facebook, turning me into the villain in public, hoping I'd break just enough for her to regain control. I felt the heat in my face, the tightness in my throat, but I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, you tried to destroy my life. Stay away from me. She flinched like I'd slapped her. The aisle went dead silent. I turned and walked away. She didn't follow, didn't call after me, but I felt the eyes of a dozen strangers burning into my back. I sat in my car for 10 minutes afterward, just breathing, shaking a little, not because I was scared, but because that was the moment I knew she'd never change. Not really. To her, this isn't about love, or regret, or even family. It's about image, control, getting the last word. And the second she couldn't manipulate me in private, she tried to shame me in public. That was the last time I'll ever speak to her. There's no forgiveness left. No, maybe next time. She's done writing chapters of my life. From now on, I hold the pen. It's been almost 2 years since I last saw or heard from my mom. No texts, no calls, no unexpected visits. Just silence. At first, that silence felt like a wound, raw and aching. I missed the idea of a mother more than the reality of the woman she was. But over time, that silence became something else. A space to breathe, to heal, to rebuild. I started therapy regularly, not just to unpack the pain she caused me, but to learn who I was without her shadow hanging over me. I reconnected with friends I drifted from, found hobbies that ground me. I even started dating again, learning what a healthy relationship actually looks like. The biggest lesson? Family doesn't have to be blood. Sometimes family is the people who show up, who respect your boundaries, who lift you up instead of tearing you down. I still carry scars from what happened. Some days, the anger flares up. Some nights, the sadness washes over me. But I'm no longer defined by her choices or her betrayal. I'm defined by my own strength, my own resilience. I don't know if she ever really loved me, or if she ever could. And that's okay, because I love myself enough for both of us now. For anyone out there struggling with toxic family, with betrayal, or with a hard choice to walk away, I see you. It's okay to protect yourself. It's okay to say no. It's okay to choose you. Thank you for listening to my story. Here's to new beginnings.